3, 2, 1. Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. It was an exciting game. I'll give it that. Eventually, another Oilers loss, 5-4 to the Capitals. The Capitals, I thought, were the better team tonight, although they got a few more power plays than the Oilers. Grade A shots were 16-9 for the Capitals, with a subset of 5 alarm shots. The most dangerous shots, they go on about a third of the time, 8-6 for the Capitals.
Interested to know what that was at even strength.
Okay, well, I can provide you with that number. Why don't we get going on good things, bad things?
Absolutely.
And I'll conjure up that number. What is your good thing, Bruce?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to default to Connor McDavid playing his 500th NHL game, and he played in some ways a standard McDavid game of tremendous speed and excitement and dangles and moves and a goal and an assist, and just not quite enough to lift his team back from multiple 2-goal deficits. The Oilers cut a 2-goal deficit to 1 4 different times tonight, but never tied it up. And McDavid was really, I would say, the number one driver of that comeback. He had some help, but not enough.
Bruce, there was 2 plays in the third period with about halfway through the third where on one of them, McLeod picks off a clearing attempt by the Capitals and puts it into McDavid in the slot. And I just thought he's going to score, and he didn't score. Like, he was just so wide open there. Such a great chance for McDavid. I thought he was going to deke the goalie or beat the goalie somehow. And then about 3 minutes later, there's just some great passing leading up to this play. First by Tyson Barrie, he finds Ryan McLeod down low by the side of the net, and then McLeod finds McDavid in the slot, and McDavid kind of works his way through the slot, and there's a sprawling save by the sensational tonight, but otherwise unheralded. Is it Charlie Lindgren? Is that his name? What a great save that was. I thought McDavid was going to bury that on the top of the net, but he just couldn't get a handle on it at the right second, at the right moment, and not to be. I mean, the Oilers did come close, and McDavid almost single-handedly willed them back into that game, Bruce. There's one other stand-up performance that I'm going to get to in a second. But you just can't have one guy going like he was going, and everyone else going at spending half the game to warm up, essentially, and expect to win the game. That was a really poor effort off the top of the game, which we'll also get to later. Any other thought? Oh, what about McDavid's goal, Bruce? What did you think of that?
Oh yeah. Well, it was a 4-on-4, and I said to my wife as soon as the double penalties was called, I said, this 4-on-4 is probably as close to a power play Edmonton's going to get tonight. And I wasn't quite right. They did actually get one power play eventually, but before that, it was all Washington power plays, and they kept pumping in the goals, of course. But on the 4-on-4. It was McDavid and Draisaitl together, and it was just a magical shift where McDavid set up Draisaitl for a wicked shot from the center of the slot, one-time slap shot. Lindgren stopped that, and then they kept the puck on the string in the Washington end for maybe 30 seconds before they finally did get the one that went in. Including within that sequence a beautiful soccer pass by Leon where the puck was behind him and in his skates. And
what a play.
Rather than try and handle it in his skates, he actually deliberately booted it into the area of the ice where one of the D-men skated onto it but kept possession. And eventually they discombobulated Washington enough that Leon got the puck to Connor at the top of the slot and basically isolated him one-on-one against some poor guy who came out second best as Connor deked right around him and around Lindgren and put it in. That made it 2-1, and that was one of the first signs of life from Edmonton. After, I'd say, the first 10 minutes, they actually were pretty good. And then the second half of the first period and the first half of the second period, they weren't good at all. And then after that, they went in between, half decent to putting on pressure to, we just took a penalty. They scored again. And that was really the game.
I never liked them in the first. I just thought they were getting outplayed, and
Did you?
yeah, um, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But
Yeah,
Hyman is
I saw
my
some good flow in the first 8 to 10 minutes. I thought some good passing and plays, but nothing that amounted to much. But it just
nothing that
looked like they
amounted
were
to
in the
much,
game.
where Washington was already amounting to things. Okay, my there was I thought Zach Hyman had a lot of good moments in this game. It wasn't I think he was out for a couple, at least one, maybe two of the power play goals when we tagged him on a mistake on one of them. But his play on two scoring plays and otherwise puck protecting. Man, I don't know how that guy does it, Bruce. There was one time he was isolated in a corner with a Capitals defenseman, puck protecting, and he just kept going up and down, protecting the puck with his body. And his technique is fantastic at that. It's just it's unreal. And I don't know if it's his build, like if he's got a super strong base that allows him to do that, or if it's just all technique and willpower, smarts. So I think it's a bit of both. But man, if he could teach that to like Jesse Yarvi and Ryan McLeod and Dylan Holloway and a few other guys, if they could learn to do what he does, because he didn't start out as a high draft pick. He was a low draft pick, I think fifth round, if I'm not mistaken, and he has willed his way to the NHL. And that particular skill is his elite skill. He puck protects down low as well as anyone in the NHL, maybe outside of Leon Draisaitl and a few others. But he is outstanding. I was expecting a lot more from that line early on from Draisaitl, Kane, and Hyman. But Draisaitl and Kane, I thought, came out really with heavy legs, and they got going as the game went on, but they were slow off the top. Anyway, the two plays that I want to highlight was first. I think it's 3-1 at this point of the game. It's late in the second period, and a puck shoots down, goes down to the Washington end, and Hyman just charges up the boards and essentially just out battles a guy for the puck, puts it into the slot for Nugent Hopkins, who makes another spectacular play in his own right, more of a skill hand-eye play, batting it in the net. But that was just a great hustle play from Hyman. And honestly, I thought one of the first like real hustle plays of the night, which is kind of late in the game to have such a 5-6 minutes left in the second period. You don't want to see your first outstanding hustle play. But that's kind of what that was maybe the story of the night for the Oilers, unfortunately. Then the next great play is a little bit of good fortune on his part. And by then, Evander Kane, this is early in the third period, and Evander Kane does have his legs going, and he just charges up the ice, a great rush up the ice, and puts the Caps on their heels for what I call the virtuous cycle as the Oilers are moving the puck around the offensive end. And I don't think they ever caught up. After Kane's great rush, he puts it across. Draisaitl misses the net. I think it comes back. Kane kind of shields the puck with his body, and Barry picks up the puck. Does he whip it at net? I can't remember. It is Kulak. He puts it over to Kulak, who takes an outside shot, which is kind of batted down in the slot, and Hyman then just jumps on it. And what I liked with his play then is his presence of mind. And I think that's the other thing that he has going for when he's cycling is he's a very cool-headed player when he has the puck. He makes good decisions, which there's not a lot of. He's got a low panic level, and we saw it on that play because he gets it in the slot and instead of just firing it on net, which is what 80% of NHL forwards would do. He finds Leon, and Leon puts the puck in the net. So that was the second fantastic play by Hyman, and both of them led directly to goals. So good game from him. Although there might have been, I haven't really thought hard about his defensive play, whether there's a lot of holes there. There might have been because there was lots of holes in everyone's defensive game, although most of that happened on the penalty kill.
Yeah, well, Hyman's that was close to the Hyman maneuver in terms of where he passed from, but it wasn't sort of the blind pass. This was actually a looking pass where he was on his forehand and he chipped it over and to Leon for the finish. But Hyman's coolness with the puck near the net. I'd like to see a few Oilers go and just touch Hyman's stick in the dressing room a few times, and see if some of it might rub off on them, because the Oilers' level of panic when they're close to the net, and all the guys sitting on 0 goals are in this club, by the way. All of them.
Yeah.
Can't make a decent touch within 15 feet of the net to save their souls. And it cost them again. But
if it was easy, everyone would do it. I mean, that's hard, right? Like that is a hard skill to practice even.
Play once in a while.
I know, Bruce. I know. Like that whole troop of guys who aren't scoring, it's getting to be, it's kind of epic, horrible. It's getting to be epic, horrible by now. Like it's really bad. We're 13 games into the season, and these guys are still just not getting much of anything done. I mean, Derek Ryan has better composure with the puck than a fourth line guy than these the $3 million men do, and it is getting a little bit ouch. Like this ain't good.
I'll differ a little on. I thought Puljujärvi was good with the puck tonight, and I thought he had a good game.
He's good passing the puck, Bruce.
Some really good short passes.
Good passer of the puck, and he is not a good finisher. How about that?
He hammered a couple of drives on net, and he made a couple of good passes, and one that he chipped through would have been maybe a breakaway for McDavid. That 26 red just swung his stick and took it out of the air. Connor was gone. Like he's playing with a little bit of confidence again, some edge. He knocked some guys down, and I thought he was effective. But Yamamoto and Fogle, my Lord, they just can't make a play, and both of them made a serious blunder that cost Edmonton a goal, in a game they lost by 1 goal.
Yamamoto's really struggling, as we've been saying. Bruce, what is your bad thing?
Well, it's the steady stream to the penalty box, and just a steady stream right back out of the penalty box when the other guys score right away. One game after killing 1 out of 3 penalties, the Oilers outdid themselves by killing 1 out of 5 penalties tonight. And in fact, they didn't really kill any of the 5 because Washington scored 4 power play goals, and on one of them, 2 of the guys were in the box. So here's the list of Edmonton penalties. Ryan Murray, he's in the box for almost 2 minutes, and they score early in the second period. Ryan McLeod, he's in that was a coincidental, and that's when Edmonton actually scored. Zach Hyman, he took a hooking penalty after what seemed like a 10-minute shift defending in Edmonton's territory. And Washington scored after that one. Let me find it now.
Is that the 5-on-3?
Yamamoto took another penalty 9 seconds later, and then they were both in the box when Washington scored 21 seconds after that. So Hyman got out, and Yamamoto actually got to leave the penalty box at the end of the 2 minutes, which was the only guy that did it, but he was still in the box for power play goal. Ceci took a penalty at 14:31, and Ovechkin scored at 14:36. That was a 5-second power play for another Washington goal. And then, of course, late in the third period, Evan Bouchard got 2 for high sticking at the offensive blue line, and it took Washington all of 30 seconds to score that time. So they got their last 3 power play goals took, in each case, 30 seconds or less from the initial penalty to them lighting the lamp. Like Edmonton didn't get a quarter of the way through any of the penalties. And it's a nightmare, the penalty kill. And I mean, and they can't seem to stay disciplined enough to not take the silly penalties. Like Ryan Murray just swiping at a puck and smashing an opponent in the face with a one-handed, just careless penalty. Or Kailer Yamamoto overskating a puck off of what looked like a 1 face-off, and then in desperation reaching out and hooking a guy, going off, and now they're 2 men short, and that's going to be a goal. And it was just I'm having post-traumatic stress thinking about Edmonton's penalty guy. I mean, Washington's got a good power play, Washington also had like $40 million of salary sitting in the press box or in the waiting room at the hospital or wherever they are, because they have got so many guys hurt, and
Yeah.
yet their power play was just invincible as always. And didn't have um, John Carlson, didn't have Nicholas Backstrom, guys that have been killing it for years, and they're still killing it. So I think Edmonton's coaches have got a whole lot of thinking to do about their structure, because it
Hey,
ain't working, guys. It ain't working at all.
I'd get on the phone and I would see if the Carolina Cowboy is healthy. Seriously. I would see if Chris Russell's in game shape.
Mm-hmm.
They could use him, Bruce. He's a better player than Ryan Murray, and he
Not a
will
question.
help on the penalty kill. He will help. He will give that penalty kill some spine. And even if he's only playing 10 minutes a game, get him on the ice, get him killing penalties. A lot of people are going to hate that suggestion, but
Well,
it's what I think. It's their defensemen are not getting it done. I mean, listen, CC and Nurse had a pretty rough game. They made a lot of
yes, very
mistakes,
rough.
but part of it is they are thrown out there against all the tough competition and against the tough competition. They don't ever get a respite, and then they're thrown out top unit PK almost always. This
Yeah.
isn't this is a recipe for grinding these guys into a pulp, blocking shots in that situation. Get Chris Russell out there to block some shots. Like seriously, see what's up with that. I don't know if it's possible, right? I don't know. Like, well, yeah, it's possible. You'd have to
Sure it
send
is.
Murray to the minors, sign Chris Russell. There you go. There's
That
my
easy. Yeah. I mean, there's a potential roster spot there, and I would think at this point Russell would take the minimum, which is what Murray's making, but Murray is just not working out at all. Like, he played his first game in a week and a half today, and I mean, there was one play where it was a 3-on-2, and he stepped up and he took a guy and hit him into the boards. Well, guess what? Now it's a 2-on-1. And the other guy goes in and rings the post. Like, what was that?
At least I was surprised not to see Niemelainen. He's been hitting like
Mm-hmm.
he's got the highest hits per 60 at even strength of any NHL D man. So at least he does something. But really, you want to win now, have Chris Russell as your seventh D man and put him in there now and then to kill some penalties for you. It's not the craziest idea, I don't think. I'm glad that you're not rejecting it out of hand. I don't think it's insane. I think they missed the guy.
Well, the guy that they brought in, I mean, when they signed him and he was 500,000 less, we were thinking, well, there's a bargain contract for a proven player. But I'll tell you what, he hasn't proven a hell of a lot in Edmonton to this point, Ryan Murray.
He's not a
Other than
PK
maybe
guy.
he's past it, is what he's proving.
Yeah, he's not a PK guy, and they need one. All right, my bad thing.
They
Just the
need
defensive.
4.
Yeah, 4 PK
At
guys.
least 4.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole PP is just an epic fail.
yeah.
Epic fail.
All right. I just think the Oilers are getting plagued with weak, sloppy, and sometimes lazy defensive play off the top of the games that they're in. And there was there was, you could say Fogle's mishandling of the puck kind of qualifies. He's trying to do too much. He just should have make the safe play. Now, they said between periods, that he was a little bit abandoned in his own zone, but he had time to move the puck. Like, they're expecting him to move the puck and he doesn't. He fails. He bobbles it and bam, it's in the net. So that was a mistake. It wasn't the one that got me the most was 12 minutes into the game, and 3 Oilers go into the corner with two with two Capitals, and it's Nurse, CC, and Draisaitl. Now Nurse pins his man against the boards, and there's a loose puck, and then there's one other Capital, and there's CC and Draisaitl. And CC and Draisaitl both end up in the red light zone in that they're not blocking a passing lane because the pass goes right to the slot and they're not covering anybody. And it goes right to the slot for a 5 alarm shot that I think that's the one they thought went in the net, right? That's the one that went up the post.
Hit the
Post twice.
crossbar and came down over on
Yeah.
bounced on the goal, just over the good side of the goal line.
So one of these guys should they're both not doing their jobs as far as I'm concerned. Someone's got to cover the slot. Someone's got to cover the passing lane. They're late to the passing lane, but no one's covering the slot. And it's just a mental mistake by. These are two really good hockey players who both know how to play defense and can be superlative defensive players when their mind is in the game. They just came out a little bit sleepy tonight, and I thought that play was indicative of it. And for the Oilers to get over the hump, to be a team that's near the top of the league standings, you're going to need that kind of defensive excellence from your best players at the start of the game, every single game. It just has to be a habit that you do, whether you want to do it or not. That's just what you do. And you're always on it. You're always thinking about it. You're always doing it. And that habit still isn't there. And we're seeing these weird starts again because of that, I believe, along with some iffy goaltending, although I don't think Skinner was particularly bad tonight. He was okay. He didn't bail the team out, that's for sure. And the first goal against was from a little bit of distance, but it was a hell of a shot. I mean, right off the crossbar. I just want to see better from, because last game I think I was talking about Nugent Hopkins and Nurse losing some battles at the start. And again, these are two really experienced players. So early in the game, just bear down, guys, and get through that first period without making a major mistake on a grade A shot against. All these guys can do it. They're not doing it, and it's a problem. So it's my bad thing. Your number, Bruce?
Yeah, I think I'll go with 31, which is now the number of games that Warren Fogle has gone without a goal. Cast your mind all the way back to last April 16th, Saturday afternoon game against Vegas Golden Knights, where the Oilers shut out the Knights and basically clinched a playoff berth. Mike Smith got his second straight shutout, and the Oilers were just turning the corner, beginning a playoff run. Well, for the last 6 games of the season after that, Fogle had 0-0-0. He's played 13 playoff games, 0-1, 1 assist, 1 point. And now in the current season, he's played 12 of the 13 games with a similar 0-1-1. So 0 goals, 2 assists in 31 games. And this is now in a total of another 10, so about 330 minutes of hockey, most of it at 5-on-5, little tiny bits of other situations, but almost all of it. He's a 5-on-5 player, probably easily 300 minutes at 5-on-5, 0 goals, 2 assists. If this was a fourth line player at league minimum, you'd be saying, well, that's just not good enough. But this is a guy that's making $2 million over the league minimum, and the Oilers need something out of him. And tonight, what they got from him was getting beat on the 1 5-on-5 goal they gave in the game, and then the usual nothing at the offensive end. And I don't know, David, what it's going to take to turn him around, but it's not that he's not trying. He makes some good plays once in a while, and yet he's in that club of guys. You get him within 20 feet of the net, and it's stone hands. And tonight he made a play where he tried to pull it out front and then wrap it home, and he pulled it out front all right, but then he completely whiffed on the attempt to wrap it home, and puck wound up going the other way. Anyway, they have to be immensely, including the player himself, of course, immensely frustrated with the total lack of production from a top 9 player.
Mano di Piedra, the hands of stone. They used to praise Roberto Duran for that, but it's not so good in a hockey player. Bruce.
Roberto No Mas Duran?
He was sick that day. I was a Roberto Duran fan. All right.
I remember it well.
That was not good.
No,
that was not good. My number, Bruce, is I'll go with where is it? Here we go. 12. Is that correct? 12:20. No, that's not it. It's here we go. 11:54. So this is 11:54 into the second period, Bruce. Mm-hmm. And that's when the Oilers get their second grade A shot on net. The first one's way late in the first period when McDavid he charges down the wing, gets hacked by Ovechkin. Should have been a penalty, and no penalty, and he gets a shot off So, and it's kind of a
shorthanded. Yeah.
marginal grade A, but it's a grade A. Anyway, the first grade A was at 4-on-4, and it's McDavid setting up Draisaitl. And then their first 5-alarm shot of the game, my real number is 11:27. They don't get a 5-alarm shot till halfway through the game. This is a team that's averaging about 7 or 8 a game, and it's not till halfway through the game that they get one. They get their first, and it's McDavid's incredible goal. It's just that was really, I just was not impressed with the Oilers get up and go in that game, and that was a fantastic play. But they need more earlier if they're going to win consistently.
I'd make the case that your number is actually 31-27. So that's how many minutes into the game it was before they finally got a shot. That's how they keep time internationally, and I approve of the international method. You start from 0 and you work your way up to 60. And this, it's halfway through the game, friggin' half hour into the game, and they haven't got a real top-notch chance yet. So
it's a long time, Bruce. Well, Bruce, I got to get going. I have my own game tonight. So you got the game grades?
Well, I'm about to start on the game grades, and I'm going to whine briefly here about, you talked about Ovechkin on McDavid, and I'm going to talk about Evan Bouchard getting tripped behind his own net with 30 seconds left in Edmonton's one power play in the game. The same ref who called the one on Yamamoto earlier in the game to give Washington a 2-minute two-man advantage conveniently didn't notice Bouchard getting obviously tripped. And Edmonton didn't draw much in this game, but I will stand on a holy book and say that was 2 penalties. The one they did call on McDavid, and then the one that they didn't call on Bouchard, and that pretty significant considering when it was in the game. 2-man advantage for 30 seconds with 8 minutes left, was it? Might have been big, but
might have been big.
Wasn't to be.
Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.